So, now I'm going to do Amazon Prime picks for August 2020. I haven't done Amazon Prime in a long time, apparently, in terms of doing these recommendation things. And I wasn't actually going to, and MainelyMovies asked, when I asked her to be in this video, she suggested it, and I'm actually really glad. So thank you very much for suggesting it. You should check out her channel. It's a great channel. She makes a lot of great videos. But let's get to mine, and then we will get to hers later in this video. So I wanted to recommend some things that are on Amazon Prime. First off, the big original movie that Amazon Prime has, I have reviewed it already, but I think it is probably one of the best things, best movies of the year. Is called The Vast of Night. It is a really great movie. It's about these two kids trying to figure out an alien abduction, or not an alien abduction, or kind of an alien abduction, figure out this thing with aliens going on in their small town. It is wonderful, really economical little indie, a really great movie, and you should definitely check it out. I really like Vast of Night. I was sort of like overly critical of it, but I still actually really enjoyed it. I've thought about watching it again. I think that director has a lot of promise. It kind of like a very small economical kind of film, but I thought it was a really cool, like fun mystery that you should definitely check out if you're looking for like a good, very good 2020 movie. That would be up there for me. They also have drive-in movie ads, which I enjoyed checking out. Amazon Prime has some interesting stuff. Sometimes I think they just buy blocks of rights of things and don't really think about it, but they do. I know they have, as probably one of streaming services, they're on the higher tier in terms of content. They had drive-in movie ads, which is kind of cool. They also have Knives Out, as well as Rocket Man. If you haven't seen either of those, they're pretty good. I also wanted to point out with Amazon Prime, I'm only selecting films that are free with the service. I know it's a weirder service in that there are things you can buy on demand in addition to what's free with the service, but these are all things that are free on the service, or at least at the time that I was suggesting it. I know sometimes you have to sign up for Showtime for a week, or sign up for Stars or something like that, but in general, we're only suggesting things that are free. So if you already have an Amazon Prime, you can do that. I'm not really going to talk about My Spy because I didn't see it, but I've heard it's all right. I don't know. Anyway, Logan Lucky, which is a Steven Soderbergh film from a couple of years ago. I'm sort of quite fond of it. It stars Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, Daniel Craig. It's a good kind of heist movie from the guy who made Ocean's 11. It's sort of underrated at this point, but you should definitely check that out. They also have How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, which I've watched a lot of times recently. We actually watch this service a lot more than I probably give it credit for, because they also have, my daughter watches Bubble Guppies on there. I'll recommend this third season of Bubble Guppies. You can check that out. As well as Bumblebee is actually on Amazon Prime, believe it or not. Also Mommie, Dearest, which is a great camp movie. If you need a movie to get drunk with your friends, where Mommie Dearest is amazing, all about the life of Joan Crawford and how poorly she treated her kids, but it's funnier than what I just described. As well as, I'm not really recommending it, but it's there, Wonder Park, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are more familiar with. Also, if you're getting ready for Tenet, or the eventuality of Tenet, or whatever, Inception is actually on there, and you should check that out if you've never seen Inception. There's one thing that's really good. A documentary series that I really liked on there is Lorena, about Lorena Bobbitt, which really kind of contextualizes the sexism in terms of what went down with her and everything that happened with her in terms of the whole treatment of her in the media, which not enough people talk about. They also have both Escape from New York and Escape from LA. I'm only recommending Escape from New York. I know some people are like Escape from LA. I'm not one of those people, but Escape from New York is a certifiable classic. They also have the animated Pete the Cat, which is more for kids, but, you know, I'll just throw that in there because I like that, and Elvis Costello is the voice of his dad. As well as, and I found this kind of just by accident, Riff Tracks made a riff track of No Retreat, No Surrender, which is what I saw recently when I saw Mystery Science Theater live. They did that movie live as Mystery Science Theater. So if you're a big Mystery Science Theater fan, you might want to check out that Riff Tracks, because it's a different version of the same movie, and it's free with Prime. Alright, so now I'm going to watch MainelyMovies talk about her recommendations for Amazon Prime, and I want to thank her very much for being on this show and on this video, and helping me with the selection.
Hey everybody, Alyssa here from Mainly Movies. First off, I want to say thank you to Jim for inviting me on to share some Prime Video movie recommendations with you guys. So I've got 5 recommendations for you, and I tried to come up with a pretty good mix of movies. Different genres, different years, some that are fairly well known while others are a bit more obscure. But the best part is, all of these movies are included free with Prime Video. So if you have Amazon Prime, you already have access to all of these movies at no extra cost. So my first recommendation for you is Charade. Now this is a 1963 film starring Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn, and it was directed by Stanley Donen, who was pretty well known for a lot of musicals in the 40s and 50s, like Singin' in the Rain and On the Town, but this is no musical. In fact, this movie combines a lot of genres, and that can be a big challenge, but it all works so well here as this cohesive thing. It's part spy thriller, part whodunit mystery, part romantic comedy, all held together by a compelling story and really great interplay between Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. I would recommend this one to pretty much anybody, but if you're a fan of Alfred Hitchcock's movies, I think you're especially gonna love this one. My second recommendation is Hereditary. So this was released by A24 in 2018, making it the newest film I'm going to be recommending to you today, and it was the directorial debut of Ari Aster. So this is a very dark movie. It's typically billed as a horror film, and I agree with that genre classification, but it's not, I guess, your typical horror movie. This one's very emotionally draining, and is a darkly tragic family drama in addition to the horror. And Toni Collette gives an amazing performance here, which deserved a lot more recognition than it actually got. So I'd recommend this one to anybody who wants a really dark, surprising, grief-filled horror movie. Ari Aster's second film, Midsommar, is also available on Prime Video right now, so if you end up liking Hereditary, there's a bonus recommendation for you. My third recommendation is Inherit the Wind. So we're jumping from the newest movie on the list to the oldest, because this one came out in 1960. It was directed by Stanley Kramer and starred Spencer Tracy, Gene Kelly, and Frederick March, and was loosely based on the real-life Scopes monkey trial. This film's a courtroom drama that centers around a southern small-town high school science teacher who's arrested for teaching his biology students about evolution. And it's such a fascinating story that looks at the interconnections between science and religion and politics and the law and public perception of all of these things. This is one of my absolute favorite courtroom dramas, and Spencer Tracy gives an excellent performance with some really strong monologues. So this is one I'd recommend to pretty much anybody. My fourth recommendation is The Silence of the Lambs. So now we're jumping from the most obscure to arguably the most well-known and popular movie on this list. This one was released in 1991, directed by Jonathan Demme, and starred Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins in 2 of their most iconic roles. It's a psychological thriller with horror elements as well as police procedural crime drama elements. It focuses on Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, who's an FBI trainee as she's trying to help solve a serial killer case. And in order to do so, she repeatedly interviews another serial killer, Hannibal Lecter, who's currently in custody. And so this is a great film with a really interesting story and some excellent performances. It gets a little dark and creepy at times, but if you can handle that type of thing, I would definitely recommend it. And my fifth recommendation is To Kill a Mockingbird. This is another movie that's really well known, so there's a good chance you've probably seen it before, but there's never a bad time to rewatch this one. It was released in 1962 as an adaptation of Harper Lee's 1960 Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of the same name, which I'm sure most of us read in high school. So this movie's a drama, with quite a bit of courtroom drama in the second half. It features a fantastic performance by Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch, a lawyer in 1930s Alabama who's defending Tom Robinson, a black man who's been accused of raping a white woman. So the story itself is really compelling and still extremely relevant today, but it has this unique quality that separates it from other courtroom dramas, because it's told from the perspective of Atticus Finch's 6-year-old daughter, Scout. So there's this element of innocence to the story that also makes it a bit of a coming-of-age tale at the same time. So this is another movie that I would recommend to anybody. Alright, so those were my 5 recommendations for movies that are currently on Prime Video, and I hope that some of these movies are either ones that are new to you that you're excited to check out, or maybe old favorites that you haven't had a chance to watch in a while. So once again, I want to thank Jim for having me on. And you can find me at MainelyMovies on YouTube, as well as all the other social media platforms where I talk about a lot of movies.
Okay, thank you very much, Alyssa from Mainly Movies, for being on the show, being on this video for Amazon Prime recommendations or Amazon Prime picks. These are all selections that are free on the service. To Killing Mockingbird is a great pick. You should all definitely see that. Subscribe to her channel. She has some great content coming out. And very much thank you for being on the show. Check out some stuff on Amazon Prime. They have better stuff than people really realize. And I think there's some really cool gems and classics. And they're very good at having a wide selection of things. So check out some of these picks. It'll give you at least something to watch in the long, hot month of August. And yeah.